Okay, welcome back, everybody. This is the React course, and I believe we will have a wonderful time learning React, a very, very beautiful JavaScript library. I love using React. I love teaching React. And this is one of the 30 days of challenge I developed last year, 30 days of React. And you can also follow this from first day to the 30th day. You may get something out of it. Okay, so let's take you to the first day. As you can see, the first day is JavaScript refresher. It takes a long time. So I'm not going there. So let's talk about React itself. Yeah, so what does it require to learn the first place? To learn React, you have to have a basic of HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. You don't have, if you don't have either of these, it will not be awesome, yeah? The journey will not be awesome. But at least the basic knowledge of HTML, CSS, JavaScript. You don't have to be a ninja, but just basic of this. Then we have to, understand what's React. Maybe I think it's better if we make it interactive somehow. Somehow, what's React for you guys?
Can I try a second?
What?
Can I try?
Yes, of course. Yes, that's
Okay.
what I was looking for.
Yeah, as React is a JavaScript framework, which can help us to produce a single page application, and it is I think a component based framework.
Yes, yeah, you're right. We don't agree much between the difference between a component and this library and framework. React is a library, not a framework. But the other points you mentioned are actually true. If you see this line of text, React is a JavaScript library. Yeah, JavaScript library. So it's a couple of JavaScript modules there for us to make use of them out of the box. We don't have to worry for. And then using this JavaScript library, what can we do? We can build a reusable user interface. And this reusable user interface, usually they are components. How old is React? React is not very old actually. It was released in 2013, as you can see here. The current version, actually, I wrote it here last year, but we can see the different versions of React, and it could be now different. What's the latest version? Uh, and how do I get it now? Okay, even on the footer, even the different versions, do they have a search? Releases, actually, releases, the proper word. That is release channels. That's something. It doesn't matter much, but it didn't increase much. So this latest also, but there might be some changes. We will see when we install. And somehow it's stable, as you mentioned, as I have mentioned it here. Stable means now it's a kind of stable that it doesn't change much through time. To React is now owned by Facebook, so it's open source, but it was created by one of the Facebook developer. So React makes creating UI components very easy. The official documentation can be found here. So that means this is the official documentation. Maybe I can also share with you, because you may. Okay. Yes. So once in a while, we may come here. Also, you may also study the documentation. Reading documentation is a good habit. When we work with React, we do not interact directly with the DOM. Yeah, I was telling you this also during the JavaScript lesson. Never touch the DOM. Okay, React will be in charge of manipulating the DOM and taking care of the DOM. We just write components and the components will be rendered on the DOM. So React has its own way to handle the DOM. Yeah. Document object model manipulation. Who can tell me what DOM is now?
The skeleton of every web page.
Yes, the skeleton of every web page is like a DOM, and the DOM means actually it's represented as in a JavaScript object. That skeleton represented as in a JavaScript object. So that is, it's a document and in an object model, in as in a JavaScript model. We have said that. That means if whenever you just see, for instance, when on the landing page, and when you just say a document, you see this page or this document can be represented as an object. Okay, a document is now at some object. If I say body is a property, and it gives me what is in the a body. So now, yes, the body has all these values. Yep, this is what we mean about. Oh, sorry. Where was I? I think React uses its virtual DOM. It has its own virtual DOM. The virtual DOM created by the React library allow us to update something that changes. It doesn't update the whole DOM, but specifically the value or the item that changes. Yeah, but when we do pure DOM manipulation, actually we just re-render everything, and that is very expensive when it comes to processing. To make new changes, and it updates only the element that needs changing. Yeah. Do not directly interact with DOM when you build a React application, and leave the DOM manipulation job for React Virtual DOM. I wrote it this a couple of times, so there is some kind of repetition, but it can help. In this challenge, we will develop 10 to 15 web applications using React. A web application or a website is made of buttons, links, forms with different input fields, header, footer, sections, articles, texts, images, audio, video, and boxes with different shapes. We use React to make a reusable UI components of a website. So, as you have seen that, a website usually has some parts. I will send you to the group breaking this breakout room, and you will discuss about some parts of a website. Yeah. To this summary of everything what we've been talking about and why React. And then now I want to ask you why you decided to learn React.
Because it's so popular.
Yes, it's popular. It's popular. Another reason?
Maybe it is, since it is a single page application, tools, it has a greatest performance of on top of others.
Most JavaScript libraries are single page applications, by the way. And also, if you remember, you can do a single page application. For instance, if you remember, the countries we developed last time is a single page application. Now, I'm using single page application quite a couple of times. For some of you, even might not be clear, and we have to make that really clear. So even, let's see. Do you think this is a single page application, or what do you think about this?
Yeah, it is a single page.
And we can also search the language Swedish. And Swedish. And we have some kind of, what do you think about this, and why, if you say it's a single page application, why you chose it to be a single page application?
Because we don't want to, every time when we want to switch page to page or not to navigate, we don't have to navigate on every page, instead of displaying everything in one page.
In one page, what do you mean by that? Okay, but it feels that also while you are using a single page application, sometimes maybe I can try to find another yes, I will. Okay, I was trying to open, but it's not opening. So a single page application means in your application you have only one page, and that is the index.html. You don't have other pages. No about page, no all others. You have only one page for rendering. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So that is the point. So
Good. Yeah.
maybe I can show you another application. It has here someone's photo. I have to change it first to something, and then I will show you. Maybe I can just change it to a penguin again. I like penguins because they don't fly. That's the main reason. Okay, how about this? Do you think is this a single page application, or what do you think about this?
It's multi-page.
I think maybe single application, because I mean, I think this one is a single application because if you click on the link, it doesn't take you to another user interface or something like that.
Another user interface.
Like when you click on for example, you click home, then it doesn't go to another browser. So I can say this one still remains single.
You mean a new tab?
Yeah, yeah.
How about an application, a website? One website shouldn't take you to a new tab while you are clicking. It shouldn't do that. While you are clicking on the navigation of the same website, it shouldn't open a new tab if it does. But if it's an external link, for instance, if there is a Facebook or Twitter link somewhere around here, when you click it, it should take you to a new tab. That makes sense.
Okay, yeah.
So, and now it's taking to me something like this. What do you think about this?
This is a multi-page website.
Yes. Now I deliberately confused you. This is also a single page application using React, but the difference, this one has also backend. If you want to just, for instance, populate this information, you can add a you can populate it, and after that, you find some kind of data, something like this. So it handled, yeah, as someone say, for instance, yeah, now I got if I click here, it should open to a separate, yeah. Yeah,
That's what
it is
I
an
mean.
external link, and it
Yeah.
should open like this. But here, while you are in the application, it should stay there. You should manage to see everything. Now, for instance, if I want to update this, I'm not sure if it's yes. Yeah, so it should remain in one page. Anyway, now this looks like a multi-page or something like that, but still a single page application. Now, deliberately, I confused you. That's great, right? Now you don't know the difference between the single page application and the other. Okay, because the reason why this, I think I have to bring this. Okay, now we're at the home page. We can't call it a page, actually, a component. We are in the home component and about component, in the contact component, and the students component. The students component has also different student card component, and this is a single student component or single information, and it works like component. If you played Lego while you were a child, it is almost like that. You connect different Legos together and make something out of that. Instead of connecting different pages, that's how this work. Okay, you don't have to be.
May I ask?
Yes.
So when it's like that, usually when there is like multi-pages, it's basically like there is the CSS and the HTML, like just copy it, the structure, like menu or something in all pages, and then it's just the main content that changes. But in this case, is it so that like everything is written just in one page, and when you click, it shows different sections? How does it work?
Yeah. All are, instead of calling them actually pages, here we call them components, and their extension is .js. And at different time, the different component will be rendered on the page.
Okay. So then it's like there are different files in React.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. For instance, this is a component by itself. One component, it's one page, but we call it component. So when we click this, the about component will be rendered. Where is it going to be rendered? On the index.html file, but we have only one HTML file. That's why we call it single page.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes. We don't have another. So this dynamically, the components take the place. And you don't have to, but I will just send you soon to the breakout room, and you will talk about some tasks related to this before we start coding. Okay, why React? And some of you answered it properly because it's very popular. So if it's popular, if you get stuck, it's easy to get solution online. It has a very big community. Community is very important, and you can develop something. You can't get stuck at some point, and it's easy to get job. In addition, it's really very reusable code. You can write reusable code. Popular, the code you write for some application will be used almost for different purpose. Yeah, once you write it, and you will use it for everything. So you have lots of benefits. At some point I wrote to compare. This is the React part, and it was how many? It was about 177,000 stars, and the view was 173. View is also very popular nowadays, but if I have to talk about this, but view came a bit later. It came later, and React was adopted by many companies, but most developers love Vue. And as you can see that it has lots of stars. But in terms of use, React has been used by many industries. And as you can see, also this is big. This is actually, when was it? In October 2020, and in February, the story might be a bit different. One for two, one. What was here? So we have 157, 173, and here it was 144, 157. Yeah. Then anyway, this is growing fast. The view is really growing very fast. Okay, why we chose to use React? We use it because of the following reasons: fast, modular, scalable, flexible, big community and popular, open source, high job opportunity. Yes, and then after this it says JSX. I'm not going to talk about JSX by using this like this. We have to open the VS Code. But before that, I want you to go to the breakout room, and you will talk about parts of a website and how can you make a website reusable. You know, websites have lots of things in common. Why you do footer, why you do header all the time instead of making one footer and header or form and making it reusable. So you go to the breakout room and you discuss about parts of a website by considering also reusability. Yeah, I will let you to go there for 10 minutes.
I discuss it already?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. We've been discussing like the reusability of the React. So React it is based on component. So each component can have its own CSS, JavaScript, and other scripts, including HTML. So anytime we want to make any maintenance, so we can go either with the component based or entirely, since there is also a common way or a common files that to make any change to our websites. So we have discussed on the reusability, that part, and the other one is since it is a single page, so there should be routing mechanism from everything, since everything is displayed on index page. So routing is there. So the routing concept we expect from this lesson. So we discussed that, and
The flexibility.
a flexibility. Yes, it has a flexibility. Also, we've been discussing. Femi, please add more.
Yeah, we are discussing about the flexibility in such a way that if you have everything at a barcode, it's easy for you to do the maintenance, and then you don't need just to have separate code for many things. If you want to design new application, it will be easy for you that the code you have before, then you can do the remodification, then continue with the new one. Then from there, you save time, you save costs. That is it.
Good. Yes, great. I think I would like to have also a different opinion. You guys go deeper into more React, but I would also like to hear, as in a general concept, what are the parts of a website? So is there another group who can also have a different view?
Yeah, if I may add with what we discussed, for example, nowadays, if you look at most of the website design, most of them, they have the same common features like menu, contacts, or something like that, which is easy. Also, when you design one website, you can still reuse that code for another website.
Yeah, yeah, good. That's true. Is there any interest, any different opinion who wants to share with us?
Yeah, we were discussing about this the technicalities like of doing maintenance of a web page and even creating something with this single page. Programming makes it quite easy to maintain, of course, especially when there are those small details. For example, in a footer, when you need to, for example, update the copyright of the year or the name or something, they are small details. But if you have multiple pages that you have to check, you have to change, copy paste that same code and make sure that you do it right. Takes a lot of time, while instead when having React with a single page, you have just that file, you change just once and it applies for every other content. So it saves a lot of time. It's technically reusable also, because the same kind of code you use for many, instead of having many pages with the same section of the code, copy it many times over.
Yep, great idea. Anyone who wants to add more, or shall we move on? I think it's enough. Do you see my screen? Do you see my page?
Yep.
Yes.
Yes.
Great.
Yes.
This is the 30 days of HTML. I started at some point, but it didn't. I think I didn't finish it. but it has some content anyway, which I can use. Let's see the most common parts of a website. Even I wrote it here, components. People may, let's see, there's some, do you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, yes, we can hear you.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, I am talking. Yes, I'm talking. Some people are listening to me. So let's move on. As you can see, website most probably have or has a logo and a header section. It could be a banner or some title. That's also common. And the navigation bar or menu, these are also common parts of a website. There's sometimes a carousel. Do you know carousel? Maybe if you don't know what a carousel looks like, carousel, can you show you carousel? I think this is the proper word. And even if I play this is some kind of this is something which goes to the left and the right is a carousel. Okay, let's get back to sections, different sections. You may have sections for sports or science and form. We have to handle that form, right? Users form for sign up or for login or to apply application form. It could be different forms and buttons, different buttons for different purpose we may have. And links, and the links could be most of the time we call links if the link is actually an external link. You remember an external, and which I showed you here. There are external links. This will take me to some portfolio, and this is to GitHub, and this to LinkedIn. Images, yeah, different images, videos, audio files. Maybe you may have a podcast that you might talk about your interest, and that is going to be full of audio materials or audio files. Social media links and footer. These are the most common. So sometimes you may think that why I'm creating footer all the time. I can just create a couple of footers and I can reuse them that for every client with a minor modification. So remember that when we are using React, it's all about reusing components, and we can make use of just the component we make once. Yep. So if this is what I'm just reading it from 30 days of HTML in case if you want to see that part I shared with you on the chat. Then after we see this, I think it's better to start React itself. I believe everybody has VS Code. Do you have VS Code?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yep.
Great. And another thing I want you to do, CMD, you write CMD here. Or if you are using Mac, open the terminal and write node v. And let's see if node is installed. Do you have node?
Yes,
Yes.
Yes.
If you don't have Node, it doesn't matter. It just go to Node.js and let's install it. See current latest, but it's better to, I think even mine is a bit behind. It's the 12th version, but it's okay. So you may install this and you may give it some time. I think I can install it on top of that. It just override what I had. I think a bit too quick. even actually for today, we don't have to have a node because I'm going to show you React in a different way. What's happening here? My computer is getting too slow. Yes. Even I'm not sure if I have some space. Yes. Yeah, I'm installing it. So I want to open VS Code. You told me that you're very familiar with why I see this. I have to remove this. I think this is the class we started last week. So I have to close this first. Why is it not? I have seen it's lingering here. Why? Maybe I think my computer is getting slower. And let's finish this task. It's okay. For some reason, VS Code is not reacting properly. What is this? It's okay. It's okay.
I think maybe it's better to open new file. Since you
Yeah, but
cannot delete that one.
maybe I think it's, I can. Okay, then if that lingers and sticks, let's just keep it here and let's just create a folder here, React. I call this group React Spring and 2021. So this is going to be our project name, okay? Everything we do will be here. So let's just bring that. For some reason, we had to close this, but at least we managed to add additional thing. Okay, so let's create that a file index.html. Yes, are you familiar with index.html?
Yes.
Yeah, everybody. So if you are working with React, the file you need, the only file, the one and the only, is just index1 index.html. So let's generate HTML the lazy way. I think this is changed to some, let's just generate HTML after you write this. If you click this, yeah, you get something like this. Getting started React. Great. If I have a success, let me try it out. Now it goes. Nice. Okay. So you know this, so we can run this like this. And let's close previous tabs because we don't need them. Maybe we can keep this if you need some example, and pushing it to the other side, and we will have some free space. And let's write H1 and getting started React. Yeah, this is what you want, right? You just started React, but you never wrote any JavaScript or React thing yet. So let's just, instead of writing like that, let's create div, and let's call this, let's give it an ID, and the ID we call it app or root. Most of the time we call it app or root. Is it clear so far, guys?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
but don't too fast.
Yep.
Am I too fast?
80% fast.
Okay, yeah. I will try to slow down and inform me, please. I'll give you some time to praise. Okay, script, and you need a script, yeah? I'm lazy now. I don't like to write the script in a separate file. Let's just write it here. And you know that, alert. I love JavaScript. Do you? Yes, so this is for us to write JavaScript, but I told you that I don't like actually alert. So console.log. Console.log allow us to test what's happening. So let's open the console, the Chrome console, Control-Shift-I, and you get it here. Yeah, and it's coming from index.html file and line number 13. Line number 13. Okay, but let's target this. We were not just consoling for nothing, so let's use the DOM const root element is equal to document.get element by ID, and you give it the root. Yeah, for a student who has been with me, it's easy for you to remember this, right? It's so easy. What we are trying to do is actually we are grabbing this div or this element, right?
Hey.
Now let's see what we have. Console.log root element. What do we have in the root element? If you print out, yeah, you can get it as in an object, yeah, as in a JavaScript object. All these different keys and the values for you to manipulate the element, yeah, this element, specific element. Yeah, but it's not about printing. How about if we are interested to write something, hey, root element, .text content, I want you to getting started React. As you can see, what we wrote is now, we saw it there, but now we are just writing pure JavaScript, as you can see. Yeah? We are writing JavaScript, and let's give it some color, some style or font. A root element dot font size, and the CSS properties in JavaScript, they are in camel case. But first I have to access the style object, and from the style object, the CSS properties as in camel case. Align content, for instance, it is suggesting me from A to Z. Wow, this VS Code is so awesome, but I am interested font, yeah, size. I want it to be, for instance, really big. If you just write a number, for instance, 100, it means actually pixel, 100 pixel. That's how it understand. No, it didn't. Yeah, So if it was React, it understands it by itself. So let's change it to 100 pixel. Yes, now it's really big, as you can see. Getting started what? Actually, I have to mention React. And our font is too big, and let's at least 72. That's much better, or maybe C58. Great. And you know this. But now let's think more of like React way. We don't touch the DOM, and React will take care of the DOM. But before that, I want to ask you, did you understand what I did?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, I did.
Okay, great. Then we agreed that React is a library. So if React is a library, we have to use the React library, the CDN, the link that allow us to use. I think I have to, yeah, there are CDN links. And then actually we have here different CDN. React by itself is actually a collection of small modules, the React itself and the React DOM. So I want to use these links together.
Sorry if I may ask, what is the difference between both?
Okay, this one, the first one is React is take care of more of the components, and the DOM is taking care of rendering on the DOM, these components to the DOM. What's DOM? Actually, I was doing now the DOM. I was doing the DOM. If you have seen what I did, if you select this and if you touch the DOM, actually we are like manipulating the DOM. We used JavaScript to write a DOM. Maybe I think we should spend some time writing on the DOM. Yeah, and it make, for instance, let's have const and some const technologies, text, and let's have HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. So this is, as you can see, an array. I know when you see an array, you love an array, right? And now you might be interested to render this value here, maybe here on the DOM. Let's render them. How? We should have some kind of, the easy way to do, actually, we can create a map. Let me show you. By text.map, one of the take, and we can say list Yeah, this the tick is actually, you know, now I'm just returning, and you have to have a dollar here, right? Yeah, and the tick. And I can say mapped text. And actually this will help you in the future to learn, I mean, this at some point when we start the map, it makes life so easy. And let's see the output. For some reason, yeah, what do you see, guys? A list of lists, yeah, and having some data. Then you can do this actually. If we have, for instance, here, you can say UL, and then you can access that UL like this, const UL document dot query selector, because I don't have to, just ul. And then if you can say ul.inner HTML, and if you put the, where is our code? I don't see our code. What happened? Yeah, I'm sorry, by mistake it was inner, then mapped technologies. I think I'm expecting some data here. If I'm lucky, yeah, as you can see, have you seen it here? Oh, but I believe this is not something you want. I know this is not something you want, but at least we managed to bring it to the DOM. And how we did, first we mapped it to something like this. The reason why we are having still that dot, let's figure out. That's very good, proper. That's 21, line 21. Yeah, it looks good. Then when we map that, yeah, because now still we have to go another extra steps to make this clean. But if it was React out of the box, it makes things clear. So I'm just trying to connect the dots for you for React, to get started React. But when we do such kind of things using pure JavaScript, it usually takes long time, yeah, to do something good. So we don't need this. The only thing you touch the DOM is here, okay? Now we are about to make use of the React library. We need this. We target it, and the only place you touch the DOM is at this line. Now we have to have the CDN, those both together, and let's get them. Where? Here at the top. Remember, it should be at the top. And now let's try to access actually the React. So how do we render React? If I write const, it should be down. Const JSX. JSX is actually, I think it's better if I talk about JSX first. JSX stands for Java Script XML, something like that. Well, but what does that really mean? What does that mean? It allows us to write JavaScript and HTML together. Really? The first time I saw, and it was like crazy. So we can say const JSX, and you can say h1. This is a JSX code. So as you can see, this part is just an HTML, and this part is a JavaScript. So you don't have to put it something like this if you are using React, because the JSX will take care of that. Yeah. This is JSX element. Is it clear? This before we move on. You don't have to change. Of course, this is not a kind of data type because we used to store some kind of data type. It should be a number or a Boolean or something. But now some kind of. You may tend to change this to a string, but you don't have to, because JSX comes with this power. It allows you just to write HTML like this. Correct. And you store it as a JSX variable like this. But by now, I think...
Can I ask a quick question?
Mm-hmm.
Because right now you're writing the script in the HTML file.
In the script, yes. Everything.
Would you normally do that when you do when you create React?
Yeah, it depends, but we will come to that one. Most of the videos and other way of doing that, no, most of the time you don't do this. You do it differently. You have to have a kind of a different way of setting up the React. Now, what I'm trying to do to help you connect the how the HTML and the JavaScript and the React connect together. Everything is now, as you can see, only on one file. We don't have anything. Yes, but we can also take this to a separate file if we want, but it's the same. We have to link it again. Now, if we see our code actually is not running, it may be breaking. Have you seen index.html? It's crying actually. Yeah, it's a bug for a JavaScript. JavaScript doesn't understand this. So the type has to be changed now. We should use a bubble. Have you ever heard of bubble? Okay, I will. Bubble. No, not this. Bubble.js. This is what I'm talking about. Yes. This one actually allows you to change things to honest, the JSX, for instance, H1, I am a title or something, right? So this is a proper JSX, and it changes to a proper JavaScript thing. So react.create element, this is the element name. We don't have props, and this is the content. Yeah, this library convert our code to the way it's supposed to be rendered or interpreted. So let's take a setup. The setup for our browser. In the browser, actually, we need this. So now we are using also another library, Bubble. Okay, so where do we supposed to put it? Again, at the top, next to here.
Excuse me.
Could you share?
Excuse me. Why do we need to use that library?
Because now, as you can see, I'm writing this.
Yeah.
This is not supported in JavaScript. You can't write this in JavaScript. This is for JavaScript. It's weird, and as you can see, it says that an unexpected token is less than sign where at line 20, because JavaScript doesn't know such kind of writing. So we should have bubble. Okay, but still it's crying. It's still I have a warning. It's not even a warning. It's an error. So we have to fix this. Okay.
Sorry for one more question.
Yeah.
If you are designing a website for somebody or for yourself or something like that, can you use this code? Because I learned that some company used to break the code. Is it allowed to use code like this from this website, this bubble?
Yes, you can. You can. Bubble is a very standard. You can, but now I'm just, this is not, if you see also when we just start, even for React, I chose to the development, not the production. Even you can use for production purpose this, but in a production purpose, we will start React differently, okay? we will install everything to our code
Okay.
base. Yeah.
Okay, good.
This is just to get started, to make things clear. Okay, so let's take, as you can see, script type. So the type should be our, this one, the type should be actually text bubble. It should be like this, based on here as is. After this, we will not have any error. Great. Now we set up our React. Let's refresh. Nothing. You are using the in-browser bubble transformer. Be sure to pre-compile your scripts for production. Yeah, even for production, they are telling us to pre-compile instead of using this. So we will do it differently later. Great. Do you have this? If you don't have what I have, I can share with you on both, maybe here. Yeah, I have shared with you on Telegram, on the chat. Then we need to, if you remember, we have this React and React DOM. So now, how do we render something on the DOM? Here. Tell me, we have already, I think this is too big maybe. Yes. We have our first JSX, and now let's render that. So we have imported React DOM, so we can say React DOM dot render. Yeah, this React DOM takes two parameters. I mean, two arguments. Argument 1 and argument 2. So in this side, it goes the JSX, and in this side, it goes this, the root element. This. So this one, I told you that JSX, and this side, I told you that. Tell me, root element. By now, we should see something. This is JSX code, or we can say, I am a element. Great. Did I touch the DOM? No. Who was taking care of the DOM? The React DOM. The React DOM, I gave it this, the root element, and this JSX. Shall we move on?
Sure.
But how about if we change this to maybe title? And we can change to getting started React. And instead we call it title. But how about if we are interested to have many, I mean, in div, like this one element, so we can actually do div. Yes, and then again inside, still yes. But you can't do this. For instance, JavaScript library. You can't do this. There should be external parent element. Yeah. So now we have to wrap it in a div to make it work. There should be some wrapper all the time. Do you get the point? And if you don't like something like this, you can use this. Okay, maybe what's the year? Okay, small year 2021. What's the teacher? Oh no. Nice. If you do this, React doesn't. Have you seen if we were using HTML, it doesn't break, but React doesn't allow you such kind of lousy writing. Have you seen? Yes. Huh? Have you seen some kind of pattern now? It seems that we are just creating some kind of a header, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so then if it's a header, it's somehow meaningful to change this to header, and we can change this to header, and we can change this to also header. This header is a JavaScript library, but this header is an HTML element. Yeah, so let's also change this to header. So now we have finished the header part of our website. But this is not a component yet, but it's a React JSX element. Great. Now let's do the body part. Yeah, const main. The main, I can go for main, actually main. Then you may say, okay, let's have the basic requirements to get started React. Yeah, tell me, you tell me, guys. Tell me what are the requirements, HTML. I don't know. CSS and
JavaScript.
And for some reason, Java script. Yeah, now I want to render this part, the main part of the website. How do can I add main here? Yeah, because I told you this render, it takes only 2 arguments. But I think it's possible to make them as in array. Yeah. But still we have a warning. Each child in a list should have a unique key prop. Maybe another way is actually, okay, let me show you something here. Can we write div here, just like this? Yes. And can we write something here? Yes. It will come here. So but we can inject this JavaScript JSX element using curly bracket header. And now, as you can see, we don't have warning. And the main also main. Yeah, we don't have warning, so it's better now. Great. Okay, but how about the footer? It was the same, const footer. And then again, maybe what is, yeah, small copyright. Anyone? Whatever. Just you have to have something to write. Now, we want to display that also. Just you come here and inject it with a curly bracket. Footer. This is how your website looks like. Do you like it? No? What do you think?
Yeah, nice. And do you just in JSX when render, not when render, but above, does SLint give you prompts like H1, or you do it all manually?
Can you repeat the question?
Like when you type H1, for example, does it give you a tip like here in HTML?
H1?
Yeah, this.
Yeah.
Thanks.
I mean, it may give you, it depends on H1. Yeah, it gives me.
It's not working for me either.
For you too.
Yeah, I was wondering that also.
Yes, sometimes it happens like that. Okay, let's see. Go to here. Okay, come to this extension, and you may write react. This, install this extension, ES7 React Redux GraphQL React Native. This is very important. As you can see, it has also 2.7 million users. Okay, if you, let's go another bubble. Install this one too. Bubble JavaScript. I think that would be enough. And you should have, yeah, do you have ESLint? ESLint to ESLint. Please do this one. This is really good. Pre-tier, if you don't have pre-tier, this, you should have pre-tier. Maybe another color highlighter. And this is also good. For some reason, it's removed from color picker. That's good too. And bracket pair. It's good because sometimes this is some purple, and blue. It's easy to see. Yeah, there's lots of important extensions, but let's, yeah. Did you manage to catch everything I did?
Yes.
That's great then. Where does my list?
But could you show the code again, because mine not working for some reason.
Oh. Okay, by mistake, I took my. Okay, so how about if I share with you all on the Telegram, guys? Also, of course, I will.
Yes, please.
But at the same time, I open Telegram here. Yes. Okay, if you understand this, shall we move on?
Yep.
Okay, great. Now we learned just what a JSX element is. JSX element could be a single HTML element or a couple of them like this. This is an HTML, a JSX element, sorry. All together, okay? All together, they are one JSX element. And if it was also just a single HTML, that's also possible, as we did the first time, yeah? Okay, now, as you can see, the data is static, but let's just make it a bit dynamic. Honest title, and our title might come from somewhere, okay? Like this. And instead, actually, we can inject our title. Have you seen now? The title data is injected here. Okay, now we may call this also const subtitle, and let's put it something like that. And the subtitle. Great. Okay, then year here. So actually the year, we can say const maybe date. So new date, and I can use the JavaScript, and from this date I can extract the year. By now you're familiar, Russell. You're familiar with this, right? Get full year. Oh no, full year. Yes, then we can just get. What's wrong with that new date?
It's just it's a curly bracket.
Yeah. Yes, thank you. I forgot the curly bracket. As you can see, we saw that. And this maybe need a break because a small is an inline element, so it didn't, yeah, it's okay. But we can keep this for this time being, we can keep it P element, and we can avoid this. Great. And this person, as you can see, he has a first name, const. Let first name. And let last name. Then we can inject this here. Now you learn injecting data to JSX element. Yep. So the data are now dynamic. Okay, let's have a pause. But as you can see, there's some syntax. Chrome type has already been declared. What do you mean? Yeah, I think we don't have any. And when I refresh, everything has gone, so it's okay. Okay. What do you think? May I move on?
Yes.
Great. Then the same thing, the basic requirement to getting started with React. It seems it doesn't change much, so we don't really change this. Let's keep it static. But I think skills, I have to have this HTML, guys, in an array, yeah? If you see a list or like a list of something, then it's going to be an array, CSS. Okay, then JavaScript. And then we can remove this. How can I render this value here? How can I put it here? Okay, I just put it skills. But I have a problem. Have you seen the problem? It should be mapped, right? It should be mapped. Okay, how do we map it? I showed you. We can say skills dot map. Guys, do you remember still map? I hope so. Yeah, let's do map, guys. Let's do map from the very beginning. Yeah. Okay, let's do map. Corners, numbers. Oh, we have our favorite number already. How can I just numbers? Okay. I don't know how can I do that. Nums 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I want you to change this to be 1, 4, 9, 16, or 25. So we want the square of each number. How do we do that? The best way, as I told you many times, map, right? So nums.map, you can just the num and just explicitly square, and this value you can just call it const nums squared. Yeah, something like this. Oh, what happened? Yeah, because this should be num, right? Yeah, sorry for that. We have to refresh this again. We have this value, and we have to correct this. Maybe I can change it to n. And now if you try to get nums squared value, have you seen it's changed? How about, if you want to make this the way you, and if you want this look the way you want, so you have to inject some HTML element between each item. Can we do that? Yes, why not? Let's try to do that. Okay, lists. For instance, I can say list, and we have to do the injection using this, and I have to close it. And actually now this is good enough to go. Yes, what is in lists? Have you seen that? We've created lists. HTML lists. If you render this list, copy and render it there, how does it look? So easy, right? Let's try. Yeah, there's the problem because we don't need this. We don't need this.
Savina, I have a question.
Yes.
At this, I'm wondering that, LI list is working only by itself without like UL, unordered list or ordered list. In this case, LI tag is working only by itself. I'm wondering because I'm expecting an ordered list or UL before tagging LI.
You were expecting what?
Just when we display on list in HTML, I expect that in the outer part, UL tag first, and the inner part, LI is next. But in this case, since it is in Java in JavaScript, is it okay to use only LI?
No, in React is only LI.
Okay, in React. Okay,
So
thank you.
React is very powerful that it just render. For instance, the problem we had because I forgot to put it in a curly bracket. Now I put it in a curly bracket. Have you seen? And the data we got is just like this. Amazing, yeah. So you don't have to do the the rendering outside, and we don't then what honest skill list, we map it skills dot map, and then skill, one of the skill, and we map it to a list. So without even using and then of course you have to do this skill. Now, as you can see, I didn't use the string interpolation, the backtick here, because JSX will take care of that. I just used the curly bracket here. But when I was writing pure JavaScript here, I will try to show you what we wrote. Do you remember the backtick? Because this is a pure JavaScript environment, but now we are writing on Babel in React environment, so you don't have to use the backtick to do the string interpolation. Yep. Then we don't write something like this. We just inject skills list, and then you will have a beautiful thing. Yes, of course. Do you have to care only for, you can change this to list or small or H1. Let's just do it to H1 and let's see how it looks like when it will be crazy. But that's not something you want, right? But just for you to make things clear. Yep. So you can modify. The purpose of map is to modify your array. So as in an array, if you just give to what is this Java React, for instance, if I do okay 100, 200, 300, but all this number, I mean, I think I make a mistake. 0, 1, 0, and 1, 0 make it. Yep. Have you seen this? No, it's hard to know. Then what you should do, you map it, map, and then I just map it maybe num, and then right away I change it to h1 and map that num to h1. I have to show you how I mapped it. Yeah, it's just right away. I have this. Of course, you can do it outside and you can bring it here, but you can also do it right away here. Then we have a chance to look those numbers in a pretty way, as you can see. Yeah, it's extra example. Okay, great. So we can use just string. We inject this string. We inject this date, and we inject also arrays. But when you inject arrays, the format is not good, so you have to map it. Can we inject actually objects if you have an object, you know? Maybe if this data was in a form of an object, let's change this in a form of an object. It's impossible to inject an object, okay? Let me show you. If you try, so it's a very common problem also. I can create an object, example object. Yeah, user is a very common, right? The user, so maybe name of the user, and age at 150. Yes, that is enough. Then let's try to inject this person here. User. Yeah, it's a crash. Have you seen? And actually, you should also learn somehow the kind of error you may get. Unquote error and object are not valid as in a React child. This is what you get all the time. So you may face it. So let's try to just maybe the name of the user is much important. So now it will be possible to access. And maybe if you are interested also, user.age. And then now we can extract, as you can see. And then you can write here username. And age of the user, whatsoever. Yep. What do you think, guys? I have a couple of questions. Did you understand JSX?
Yes.
Yes, JSX means this one. Now we are not using static data, instead injecting data, dynamic data from variables. So how many JSX elements do we have so far here? Okay, there's a, okay, let's see, 3. Someone said yes. Katarzyna said 3. Yes, you're right. 1, 2, 3. Yes. Yeah, Katarzyna was listening properly. We have only 3 JSX. How many data types we tried to inject? Or can you tell me the different data types we tried to inject to the different JSX elements? Yeah, I can just tell you the string,
The array,
and
number.
And the number. Yeah, here it's not a date actually. After we change the date, if I how about if I try to inject this as but what do you think? It's a crash, and the problem is the same because date is an object, and the error, it will be the same kind of error we got last time. Where is that? I don't see the console. So you may see that unquote error objects are not valid as a React child. So whenever you see such kind of error also, you know what you the mistake you made. Yeah, so let's just get it back. It's possible to inject almost all the data types, but not object. That's also easy, right, to remember? Yes, Object has to be destructured or extracted to be injected to JSX element. If this is clear, shall we move on to something else?
Yeah.
Great.
Yep.
Now let's change it to one upper stage that I think it's better to keep this code for some time later, and I call this resource, or maybe I think not resource doesn't make sense, but I call it, I think I have to have a folder, and I call this week 1. And week 1, you have everything related to JSX.html, okay? This because that is. Now, let us talk about components, because in this file I am interested to talk about component. This also has to be in that file. Okay, so if you want to refer, you just come here and you get everything. Now we are about to transform these two somehow to React component. I think I put a very good example of what a component looks like on here. I have to go take you all the way to yes, somewhere here. Please follow this material. It's somehow very good. Now it's day 1, so I think it could be day 2. What am I doing now? Oh no, I have to use the components. Oh yeah. Now, based on this material, how many components do you see? Yes.
4.
4. I have to count also. Green, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And actually, I forgot also to put one external. There should be also one external. So as you can see, we have the red, all the borders are components holding this. You can, if it's the Lego, you can take the header out, and then you can take the footer out, and then you are left with the blue, the orange, or I think it's the yellow border, and then inside you have also these components. This is a component. Okay, before I quote the code, did you understand the concept of components?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah. So everything we do most probably feels and sounds like 30 days of JavaScript. I mean, React. I'm not going to create a new content. So and so that's somehow tested, and the examples are so good. So let's okay, function can be divided into, components are reusable. Oh no.
Sorry, I want to ask something.
Hmm?
I want to ask something.
Yes.
All this example, is it possible to find it in 30 days React or something like that?
Yeah. As you can see, have you seen this also? It's also the same thing.
Because it's not easy for me to type at the same time to see what you are doing.
Yes,
So
yeah.
it will be easy for me to come back to it.
Yes. The thing is, we will have also recorded video. I strongly recommend you to do everything I do. So if following is boring for you, you may watch the video. And if watching is boring, you can come here. And most of the examples and the exercise we make might be the same, most of. But there might be also some differences, but not much, okay?
Okay.
Anyway, you get more from 30 days of React than my teaching, because I can't cover everything what we had there. are reusable user interface or UI. So now how do we make them? And it could be functional or class based. And today we will cover a functional component. So if we are talking about functional component, they are made from functions. Okay, who can tell me how to make a function? This is how we make a function. Function followed by name of a function. And are you okay with this code, guys? Are you okay? You know everything about this line, yeah? This line.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah.
Great, great. This can take a parameter. It may or may not, okay? It's okay. But you know also this. Let's change this to... this is also another way of writing a function, yeah? Function expression. You are okay with this also, right?
Yes.
Yeah, no big deal.
Yes.
And you can also simplify this like this, right? In a row function.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great. We're sticking to this one finally. Then actually, but when we make React components, the name of the function starts with uppercase, okay? Not like a small case, but uppercase. For instance, if it's this one going to be a header, we call it header or header component, something like this. Then why not? Let's just return. This has to return something. Return. If a function doesn't return anything, what's the value?
Undefined.
Undefined, yes.
Great. It's undefined for JavaScript and none for Python. Yeah. Now let's write I am the header component. Yeah. And we have to close. But in React component, you can just take this function. The difference between pure function and React component, this should be the starts to a capital letter. And what we return is actually a JSX element now. Yeah, do you remember this, the JSX element? Yeah. And how do we call it? How do we invoke this? Yeah, let's forget about this. Forget about that. We don't need this anymore. We don't need. This is header component. I love my pronunciation. Header component. Yeah, this is how you call it. A bit different. So now let's see what we have. Actually, oh, there's lots of errors. What happened? Let's see. Because we've been changing file names and something, so we have to stop and run the file again. Or maybe from here. Yeah, I'm the header component. Great. Then it is easy to, now you know that, how to make a component. Is it easy for you after this to make a component? Even you don't have to call it header component, it just by looking at the capital letter, it shows that it's a component. So let's also just make it a bit shorter, and it's header. And since we have lots of JSX here already, why we just write this down? And instead of returning this tiny JSX, return header, this header. Oh yeah, this header. Okay, now let's see. Oh, that's great. Then let's keep writing another const main, because I told you that you should make your component capital letter. And let's return main. Yeah, great. And then we have a footer. Honest footer. Oh yeah, it should be capital. Footer. And let's return footer. Now, but we are returning just the header. Yeah, again, we need one a kind of an external div that bind all of them, the header, and we can also again render the main and the footer. These guys are components. Once, if you make them beautifully, they will be beautiful all the time. So we do it the same way, but now in a component based. But as you can see, it doesn't make sense to write this separately. We just return it here. And like, because we are not, and also the same all over again. Let's destroy this. We don't need it. And we can put it here. And but if you remember, we just wrote here h1. It's better to change it to list because it doesn't make sense. And let's remove unnecessary space and the header also. And let's do it up and destroy that part and put it here. And now our code might be much cleaner. Let's see. Oh yeah, great. And we just use this for an example. Let's remove that also. This person with yes, what do you think now you learned about components? Yeah, this is your component, the header component, the main component, and the footer component. Do you have any question?
No questions, but I still don't get this out of text fill to work.
Oh, okay. So, I mean, text fill means when you write something like this, whenever, for instance, if you have H1, what was the question again? Text fill, what does that mean, text fill?
Yeah, when I write it outside, maybe outside the script, it's autofill, text autofill, it's working, but not inside.
Outside.
Some reason.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Outside of this. So you mean here it works, but it doesn't work inside here?
Yeah, I think so. If I want to write something and it should automatically close to the starting, closing tabs and everything.
I have the same question, same problem.
Okay, yeah, those kind of tiny problems can be, you may search it. Even I don't have out of like my head, I can't.
Yeah, I just don't know what words should I Google. In what word?
What was in, I think this intelligence. VS Code. Yeah, even I didn't write in there this name. So you may, if you find stop working the language search, so maybe you have to use this word. Yeah, this is the automatically it sends and generate for you. Then you call it IntelliSense. So I think it comes from intelligence whatsoever. I don't know. Yeah, that's how you search it. I hope you may get some solution for that. And okay, let's see if there's a short fix. I may also Yeah, even sometimes I may have some problem. So you can even uninstall and install from a fresh. That's not a big deal if it just is stagger for some time. That's another solution. Yeah, I think we should stop. Today is the first lesson. Maybe next week we will talk about today. Let's have a note. You know that I take note dot md. It's just I'm taking. What did we learn today? Today we learn about why. Nice.
About components.
Yeah. React, and we learn about why React, and then we learn about what is JSX, and then we learn function and functional. What are we going to learn next week? We will learn props, and then we will learn mapping property, and then we will learn state, and we will learn for. I think this will be enough. Yeah, this really is enough for you. But I want to take questions if you have any question, and we will just keep working on this, and it will grow. My recommendation: work on the 30 days of JavaScript, React, sorry. And of course, if you want also work on that, all the examples are here already. Even you might be ahead of the class, and you will enjoy really the lesson if you're reading this and if you follow the lesson, because there are lots of information we pour in short time. So then how was your learning today? Let's rate your learning from 1 to 10 today.